Hello, welcome to my revision guide for your last minute studies. This is World War One. I'm just going to go through what are the key words, key questions, and what are the key outcomes that you must know with regards to this chapter. Starting out, why did the powers differ on demands of the TOV? What are the experiences of the different countries, and why do these experiences affect what they demand when they are discussing about the terms of the Treaty of Versailles? First, you have Britain, so you must know the guy's name is David Lloyd George. Okay, basically, he didn't want Germany to be punished that much. Why? It's because at home he has public pressure to punish Germany. So although he didn't want to punish Germany that much, but the pressure caused him to agree to those harsh terms placed on Germany. Second, communism. Now, Lloyd George didn't want a weak Germany because a weak Germany cannot stand against communism. Okay, this was a time when communism was rising, so we need a strong Germany to safeguard against communism. Okay, next, the reason why he agreed for the heavy reparations is because he wants naval superiority. He wants to limit Germany's military so that they cannot stand toe to toe with British military. Okay, but another reason why he may not want such harsh terms is because unfair peace may lead to another war. So Germany might feel it's extremely harsh and they might rebel, and that's exactly what happened that led to World War II. Next character, Clement Saw. Clement Saw is very straightforward. France was heavily defeated. France had the most casualties, the most destruction of property, so they are the ones who want heavy reparations on Germany. They want total blame because they are seriously affected. Okay, they lost Alsace-Lorraine and they want to get it back, and of course they want revenge for all the war losses. So the bad experiences of the impact of World War I caused France to want heavy reparations to Germany. For Germany. Okay, next, US. US was not involved that much, but they were still involved. Okay, and so Woodrow Wilson wanted to build a lasting peace. He wanted to be the leader to form international cooperation among nations. So that's why he came out with this self-determination point in the Treaty of Versailles and the 14 points to grant countries the right to exist, countries the right to have self-determination, to have nationalism, but at the same time the League will be there to help them if they face any aggression. But on the flip side, of course, America is a democracy, so the impact of the war caused people to be war weary, and hence in order to gain support back home, he needed to take America out of future foreign entanglements. So unfortunately, although this was his big idea, but the US was not heavily involved in this big idea due to the pressure again back home. So that is why the US came out with these terms. Okay, Japan, very simple. Japan was rising. The Russo-Japanese War and the Sino-Japanese War, the victories encouraged Japan to be more aggressive. And Japan saw World War I as a stage where they could claim their territories, where they could claim superiority and announce their presence on the world stage. So the fact that they could enter the discussions for the Treaty of Versailles shows that they are already someone big. So of course they want to gain possessions, to claim superiority, to be seen as a world power. And of course they were alliance with Britain during World War I, so they agreed to some of the terms because of these alliances. Okay, so that is for this question. Next, was the TOV fair for Germany? Okay, very simple. First, we look it's not fair. So you can lump the clauses together, but I prefer to separate them to make it more clear for you to understand. So first is the heavy reparations, 6,600 million pounds. That's a lot of money. So this is the explanation part. Why is it unfair? Because Germany was already devastated by World War I. Okay, like all the other countries, they lost the men, they lost the property, they lost the infrastructure. This reparation was a further additional burden, and because of this, France, they could not pay the reparations. So France took it upon themselves to invade their region, their rural industrial region. So again, they got double losses. They lost reparations and then they lost territories. So high unemployment, hyperinflation are the natural causes of this. So of course it's unfair. Germany would feel very aggrieved that this happened. Okay, next, second point you can talk is military limitations. Again, 100,000 men, no air force, no tanks, no submarines. This can be put together with the previous point, so you just need to know that it's not fair because you limit my military so that I cannot attack, but I can't even defend myself now, right? Much less attack others, so that is the main reason for military limitations. Okay, war guilt cause. Very easy. Germany was one of the many nations involved, so how can you put the blame solely on us? And this was a conflict started between Austria-Hungary and Serbia. So again, what does it got to do with us? We are just helping our allies versus everybody else who is also helping the allies. So why is it that Germany are the ones that are punished the most heavily? So people feel aggrieved about this. That is unfair. Okay. Territorial reduction and self-determination, I lumped this together because it's kind of the same point. So they lost Rhineland, they lost Poland, they lost Sarko region, they lost their territories in Asia and the Pacific. So it's not fair because, again, without these territories, you would damage the pride, you would damage the economy of Germany, which is already very weak. And regarding the self-determination, you have people like Austrians who want to be part of Germany, but although they speak German, and although the clause in the Treaty of Versailles states that nation states can have the right to choose where they want to be, but because of this, that's why they cannot. So they feel it's unfair. Like you only helping the victors, but not Germany. The losers cannot have self-determination. So same thing with the Germans in Czechoslovakia and the free city of Danzig. These people are not free to choose to join Germany or reunite with Germany. So of course, they'll feel aggrieved, they'll feel it's unfair. Okay, so if let's say the question asks you about was it fair and you want to say yes. So one reason you can give is because French devastation. French had heavy losses, and it was Germany who gave unconditional aid to Austria-Hungary. They were the ones who had the biggest armed forces, and they were the ones who caused the most destruction. So of course, they are the ones who should have the heaviest reparations. Okay. Another thing is the Treaty of Brest-Litovsk. I never put it inside here, but you can look at the textbook. So again, the term stated that if they won the war, they were going to be punishing the other nations more heavily than what was settled in the Treaty of Versailles. Okay. So again, France lost property, infrastructure, men, and you need to punish Germany heavily so that the aggravation. Although Germany did not start the war, but they were the ones who aggravated it to a big extent. So we need to limit their military, we need to have reparations so that they can compensate it, and so that they cannot rise again in the future. But of course, it didn't happen. Okay, now we move on to the League of Nations. Okay, the main question is what's the reason for the weakness of the League of Nations? And you will see some certain keywords here in this part. Okay, aims are collective security and disarmament. I think you know this already. Okay, some limited success. Just remember two, so I would remember the Alien Islands between Finland and Sweden, where the League managed to get these two countries to talk it out, and the decision was given to Finland. And then the Greek-Bulgarian border. So Greece invaded Bulgaria and the League managed to make Greece withdraw. Okay, one common thing you see is that these are small nations. These are small nations with limited military power. So with regards to small nations, the League could be successful in their terms of security and disarmament. But in big nations, aggressive big nations, the League couldn't do anything. Okay, so some of the reasons, there's only three basically. One is limited membership. So again, US and USSR are not involved because US was an isolationism policy and Britain and France were pacifists. So you don't have an army backing. Okay, it's just like how you fight a gang fight. If you don't have the backing of people, nobody will listen to you, right? You don't have influence, nobody will listen. Okay, Britain and France are willing to be involved because they are looking at their own self-interest. So again, you have no army backing. So without army, you're going to be helpless against aggressors. Okay, whatever you say is going to be just words. Words are going to be meaningless. Okay, so Abyssinia Crisis and Manchuria. So these two examples are going to float around and be the same thing. Okay, so you just need to know two examples in effect. So the key words here are, because of this thing, they lost credibility, they lost support, they are distrusted among the world nations. So that is why the LN seen as weak, because of the loss of credibility. Okay, next reason, post-war attitude, same thing. Again, focus on Britain and France, who are rebuilding. So they don't want to help, they rather focus on rebuilding. Again, one aim was disarmament, but again, Britain and France didn't want to disarm because they need to protect themselves, especially after World War I. Everybody's so weak, everybody's so vulnerable. You disarm, but I don't disarm. Yes? So again, they prefer appeasement and concessions to conflict because again, people saw the devastation of World War I. They didn't want to fight again. So I will just appease you, I'll just give you concessions. So of course, credibility again. Credibility affected, right? So your two examples are Japan, Abyssinia, and of course Hitler. Hitler took advantage because he pushed the limit, and he realized that the league is not doing anything, or the sanctions are useless. So again, he pushed some more, and that led to the outbreak of World War II. So in this aspect, the league was kind of weak in preventing the rise of aggressive nations such as Hitler and Japan and Italy, which formed the Axis powers in World War II. Okay, structural flaws, I believe this is the last one. So again, just like the weakness of Weimar government, you need unanimous vote by council. You also need 2/3 majority in assembly. So the council members are the permanent members, who are Britain, France, Italy, and so on and so forth. And these countries again will be biased towards themselves, because of course you want to help yourself, right? But the fact that they cannot agree together to do the sanctions, to agree on what kind of sanctions and the degree of the sanctions, resulted in aggressive countries taking advantage of this. So again, you have Japan with Manchuria, Italy, Abyssinia, just push the limit, keep invading, and you see what happened. And true enough, you know that the league can't do anything. Okay, limited actions, because you can't pass anything if you cannot agree. So the fact that this league is structured in a way that you need 2/3 majority to agree caused the lack of action taken. So again, people look at this and see, the league is not credible, it's not, and then hence it will lose support, and then lastly it will be seen as weak. So everything goes in a flow. Okay, so that's it for chapter 1. I hope you understand. If any questions, do email me or leave in the comments below. You can email me at thehistorymailbox@gmail.com. So I'll see you again in the next chapter. Happy revising.